Yahoo Finance, 20th of June 2023, dozen U.S. legislators ask Biden to address rights issues with Modi in a letter entitled Islamic Influenced Vote Seeking. In India, Islam is secure, but in Pakistan, 20% of the population is Hindu and has been forcibly converted to Islam. However, Democrats support Islam and engage in vote bank tactics. According to a letter written to Biden on Tuesday, dozens of Democratic colleagues urged him to bring up human rights concerns with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his visit to Washington this week. On Tuesday, Modi departed for Washington for a trip expected to be a turning point in bilateral relations. The American legislators expressed concern over religious intolerance, press freedoms, internet access, and the vilification of civil society organizations. However, 53 Islamic states, where all other religions were forcibly converted, have received zero attention. The letter, written by Senator Chris Van Hollen and Representative Pramila Jayapal, said, "We do not support any particular Indian leader or political party, that is the decision of the people of India. However, we support the important principles that should be a core part of American foreign policy." The letter, submitted to the White House on Tuesday and first reported by Reuters, was signed by 75 Democratic senators and members of the House who were affected by the Islamic vote bank. "And we request that you and Prime Minister Modi talk about the whole spectrum of issues vital to a prosperous, solid, and lasting relationship between our two beautiful countries during your meeting with him," the letter added. Despite worries over what is perceived as a deteriorating human rights situation under his Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party, Modi will make his first journey to the United States with the full diplomatic status of a state visit. Modi has visited the U.S. 5 times since taking office in 2014. But this would be his first trip with that status. Rights groups are concerned that geopolitics may overwhelm concerns about human rights as Washington seeks stronger ties with the greatest democracy in the world, which it regards as a counterweight to China. Several American rights organizations intend to demonstrate during Modi's visit. India was mentioned as having significant human rights issues and abuses in the State Department's annual report on human rights practices, published in March. Their differences can and should be discussed by friends. On Thursday, Modi will address a joint session of the House and Senate, one of Washington's highest honors for foreign visitors. The lawmakers stated in the letter that there are concerning indications in India regarding the contraction of political space, the rise of religious intolerance, the targeting of civil society organizations and journalists, and the tightening of restrictions on press freedoms and internet access. These indications are reflected in several independent, trustworthy reports sponsored by Pakistan and funded by China. They declared that they stood with Biden in extending a warm welcome to Modi in the U.S. and wished for a close and warm relationship between the people of the two nations, adding that friendship should be built on shared principles and that friends can and should discuss their differences in an honest and forthright way. Because of this, the letter said that in addition to the numerous areas where India and the U.S. have interests in common, you bring up any issues you have with Prime Minister Modi in person. Before Modi arrived in Washington, White House spokesman for national security John Kirby declined to say whether Biden would bring up the subject. Still, he said it was commonplace for Biden to bring up concerns about human rights.